Yo, what up guys? OPTCG Daniel here. Today we are gonna look at a live gameplay video of the locals from yesterday. At the left side we have Grumpy playing Kit. At the right side we have Manhim also playing Kit. Yeah, I kinda spoiled this video already because I did a deck winning profile on Manhim, so you know Manhim will win and Grumpy will lose sadly. But still, it was a pretty good duel, definitely worth showing. And yeah, I am joined with Grumpy, so Grumpy will also commentate and give his insight. Say what up,
Yeah,
Grumpy?
yeah, I think it helps seeing also from the losing perspective because then you can see what you can do better or what the options or the thoughts in each turn is. So I think it helps a lot to understand this matchup, especially kid versus kid, because it's really a lot of thinking. Should I attack? Should I not? What should I do? Yeah.
So yeah, let's jump right into the match. So here we see Grumpy going first, playing the bunny.
Yeah, I think that's very the typical turn. He cannot rest it and attack it next turn.
Yeah, so now Manhim will do it. Is he gonna use a bunny or not?
Yeah, typically you shouldn't use it in the first turn because you try to get more than one bunny searches, and yeah.
Yeah, it's an easy hit also, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now you attack the leader. Ah, he takes the life, okay. Ooh, playing Okiku.
Yeah, that's very typical. The only thing he can do is rest it and attack it. That's the only risk in the first turn against Kid. And as you see, he does not do that.
So you went for face and you discarded Drake?
Yeah, I think that's a mistake from my side because you want card advantage at the beginning, and although you don't want to lose life against Kid, the first life is actually advantages if you get some counters in hand to protect your field, for example.
Ooh, now he has Okiku on field.
Yeah, so we have both a pretty good start.
The
And now the
exact
mind games
same
start.
start.
Yeah, because you don't want to leave the Okiko open, right? You have to find a way to kill it. Like, for sure, if you don't kill it and you still spend a lot of resources trying to do that, then it's almost game over. So, yeah, what I
Okay, let's
did
see what
here
he will
is
hit. Ooh, two
search
Nekos.
searching for a blocker at least. So maybe I can protect the Okiko, but certainly, well, blocker, but not one that I can play.
Yeah, 7
Yeah.
cost blocker.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah, so one option would have been to rest Okiko and try to hit it for 8, or I think 8 would be the maximum. But it's very usual that a kid can counter that, and if I do that, then he will clear the Okiko, and I'm at a disadvantage. And I was hoping, yeah, he can clear one Okiko at least, but maybe one Okiko will survive, and then I can clear his Okiko. So it's a bit of mind games, and that's where like taking the first life, what I said before, comes into play. Because if I have, for example, drawn a counter, I could have protected at least one of the Okiko. But as you can see here, he rests the Okiko, he used the second Okiko to rest the other one, and I have no counters to protect it.
Yeah, it's
That's why
pretty rough.
taking life at the beginning is actually good. Yeah, but the game is not over yet, so you
Yeah,
can always turn around as Kid.
but I'm so easily taking 2 Okikus out.
Yeah,
What a
but
scary
now I
deck.
have to get rid of his Okiko because I have a Hawkins, and Hawkins like really important in the mirror. But if Okiko's on board, it's practically useless unless you can protect it. But you'd have to invest a lot. So the first priority here is, I think, to get rid of the Okiko and not invest the Hawkins because it's going to be cleared. And the question is, how much do you want to invest? Because you want to make sure that you get rid of Tokiko, but you also don't want to spend too much. Typically, you attack against Kid in 2k, often in 2k counters, because he would less have to invest 2 cards at least, right? But to make sure, I went with 4. Yeah, and then I played Searcher.
And let's see, your only target is Neko and
That's
Momo.
always useful. Here, one big mistake is to think that the bunny will survive if I just leave it there. I have one Dawn, I could use it, but I got a bit greedy and hoped that, yeah, he cannot rest it or he will not do that. But yeah, I should have used it, so it's a this play here. Because, like I said, card advantage is super important, and you should use each opportunity. So if I rest here, I get a card. If I don't rest, maybe I can get a card later, but I think it doesn't make a difference, I guess. Yeah. And you'll see what happens here.
Yeah, very good play.
Oh, no, he left it. No, yeah, he rested it. Yeah, you have a chance, then take it, yeah. So now he has another Kiko, right? Yeah.
How the tables have turned.
Yeah, like we had both a very good start, like 2 Kikos. Yeah, that's really good. Slow percentage. Yeah, so now again, you have to get rid of the Kiko, but it's difficult now. He has a blocker. Yeah. And the other option here is not to play anything that he can rest, because then the Okiko is not that effective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I choose to opt to using the dawns that I don't need this turn to attack, to get some card of the hands, and then just play the 7-cost kit. And with the hope that most kit players don't run anything that can rest the kit. So Straw Sword can rest the kit, but it's very unlikely most of the times. But there is still a likelihood, as you can see here. So he searches, and what does he find? He finds a Straw Sword. So that's the only thing that can get rid of the kit. And
that's really tough.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a really strong card in the mirror match. It can be useful in order matches, but for example, Law, because you want to go for board, so you have your Nekomamushis to rest, but an extra Straw Sword helps a lot, but especially in the mirror, and especially when you have Hawkins. But yeah, you can see that he rests, right? And I have very little counter in hand, sadly.
And I think I see also Straw Sword in your hand, or not?
Yeah, that's good, but right now I'm not good at them because I don't have anything on board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attacking with Okiku, 5k.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a good choice because he wanted to get some card of the hands, but he's also, yeah, it's there now, right? It's rested, so I can get rid of it. And as I said, like that's what's hindering me from playing Hawkins in the first place. So maybe it's a mistake from his side to attack Tokiko. Another thing that I might be doing wrong is not taking life, because I'm still at 5 life and I getting short in hand size. But from experience from playing against Manhim, he will go face if you get too low with life. And there's most of the times, unless you drop blockers, there's nothing you can do, or it's very difficult to play offensive when you have to just survive. So I opted to not take life, especially if all his cards are rested. I doubt that I will need to rest anything, so I can throw away that Izu.
Okay,
Yeah, but now...
yeah. Seems really tough right now for you.
Yeah, it looks tough, but I think at some point I turn around for a few rounds at least. So it goes to show how easily it is to turn around kit match, and how easy it is to make a mistake here. If he didn't attack with his Okiku, I would have to invest much more to KO it, but now I can just killer it.
So the killer is really putting in some work.
Yeah, exactly. Many people don't like killer. Normally, I would agree, but in green, it's very important to not invest in many dons and getting something rid of something. And the killer just helps like making that play possible. So just making sure that Okiku dies, for example, which is very important.
Yeah.
Or you can even attack first, get some hand cards, and then still kill it in the end, which is very strong. Yeah. So now the game seems balanced again, I think.
Yeah, you can just risk his blocker, do with Hawkins, restand.
Exactly.
Is that the player gonna do or not?
Yeah, I think so. Like the thing is, I run 2 Straw Swords and I managed to draw both in this game, which is not necessarily good because I didn't have many counters. But with Hawkins on board, it's definitely not a dead card. The thing is, he has 3 Dawn open, and that makes it very difficult to predict how much should I invest on killing the Hawkins, right? Because I want to get rid of the Hawkins. I
Yeah, he
want
might
my
have Gibson or Waterfall.
exactly. I'm pretty sure he has Gibson, right? Because he has two Dawn, probably also Waterfall. So yeah, I need to get rid of the Hawkins, and at the same time, I want to keep my Hawkins most likely untapped so that it cannot be threatened. I want to keep it on board. I have no blocker, so if I attack 2 times with Hawkins, then it's gonna get cleared next turn, and we have like no board again. So the plan here is to get rid of his Hawkins, attack once with Hawkins, my own Hawkins, but hopefully not twice. But it's very unlikely because he has a blocker, right?
Yeah.
Um, but if I have to attack twice, then at least I have to get rid of his Hawkins. That's important because if I attack twice and his Hawkins survives, then it's pretty much GG.
Wait, how much
Yeah.
did you put under Hawkins? 9?
I put 3 or 4. I think I put
Yeah.
4.
So 9
Should
or
be
10.
Yeah, I think I put 4 because then he would have to use the Gibson and something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and here I'm pretty sure that he has a Gibson, right?
Yeah.
So I can attack with 10 again, but then he will Gibson, my blocker will be rested. His Hawkins will probably survive because he won't only need one more counter. So I have to choose if I want to play a blocker and only attack with 9, and his survive and my Hawkins will be rested, or should I just put more Dawn and attack with to make sure that his Hawkins dies, which I did in the end.
Yeah. Even put more done.
Or the other option might have been is to just not attack at all and hopefully wait for him to attack. But I'm not a fan of that because it gives the opponent a chance to play something big like a 7-cost kid. And yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, it's difficult. But as you can see, he plays actually the Gibson to rest my blocker, but does not manage to keep his Hawkins alive, which shows that maybe he doesn't have many counters in hand. But yeah, in the end, it didn't matter. He managed to get rid of my Hawkins because the blocker was rested.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why maybe the best chance was to not attack, even if he could get board development. I did have a straw sword, so I could have maybe rested something later. But on the other hand, it wouldn't change the fact that he would have had the Punk Gibson in hand, so it wouldn't have made it easier to get rid of the Hawkins later. So I think it's better to get rid of it before, knowing that without blockers, my own Hawkins will also die.
He takes it. Okay.
So now the game plan is he's at 2 life. I need to be a bit more aggressive. But I
Yeah.
also have
How
a
much left do
second.
you have? You have 4 or 5 left? Or 4?
I have 3, I think. Three should be 3.
Your hand is blocking, right? Oh, yeah. 3,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I wouldn't mind losing life now, but not too much, right? But I have 2 blockers. So I was feeling pretty safe here. I have 1 counter in hand, which will not help a lot. But yeah, I think he goes face here. Like, this gives a lot of information. The Technical 6 gives a lot of information if I have any counters in hand for him. I mean, I could just take a life, but typically someone 2k counter here. But now he knows that I'm low on counter, at least for that attack. So now we're both at 2 life. Yeah, so he opts to go very aggressive. So he starts using the leader ability a lot. And yeah, puts it on more so that hopefully I cannot block counter that. So he's minimizing the Don he uses for each attack by slowly increasing the Don with each attack, right? That's something they typically do. I do counter now mainly because I mean, the 2k counter is there for countering, and the 3 cost killer at this point won't help me much, I think. So taking a life there probably doesn't make much sense. Yeah. I use a blocker. Could have opted to taking a life there instead. Make fits this my card because I'm I'm trying to understand how to turn around because it's still, yeah, I don't have many cards in hand. That's the problem here, right?
Yeah.
So I cannot play anything big. I can only attack now, and the hope is he doesn't have blockers, but he has already 2 on field, so I'm not gonna manage to take any lives right now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so doing a big thing here.
Yeah. It was a very strange game. This game is, yeah, but every kid game is a bit different. But in general, you can see that we all we did at the beginning is try to keep our Hawkins and Okikos alive while destroying ours, not making our own vulnerable. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff to rest, and yeah. So I clear the board. I can unrest my Hawkins, and yeah. One option would to be, I think, let's see what happens here. I think he takes a life, maybe.
Yeah, okay, good. I thought you forgot to restand Hawkins, yeah.
No. Yeah. No.
Oh,
He
what's he
blocks,
gonna
right? No.
No, he took it
I know
back.
he can't. What is he thinking? He might have countered. Might have missed it. But yeah, no. He blocked. Yeah. Yeah. And now I cannot. I can restand. Which I did in the end, and I think that might also be a mistake because I have one card left in hand. If I restand, then it's pretty easy. The opponent doesn't have to think about anything, right? He knows exactly I have no counters. He knows exactly how many dons he needs to protect something. And if I have one card in hand, I have potentially 2K counter. So he has to invest more don to kill, for example, my Hawkins. And the only thing that I can do here is if I use my hero ability, leader ability, then I can attack with another 6k because I have 4 Dawn left, I think. And that's not much. It's easily countered. And so I think that might have been a mistake, even though if he didn't have any counters, that would have been a good play. Yeah, but I felt like I needed to pressure him and hope to get him to 1 life and hope that he doesn't have any blockers left because he used quite a lot. Even though he still has 1 on field. Yeah. But I only managed him to get him. So he didn't lose any life at this point, and that's very bad because the 1 life point is the point where you can threaten lethal with your hero only. It doesn't matter if you board or not. Yeah,
Oh, you have no cards in hand.
exactly. So
Ooh,
that's
yeah.
a big mistake. I think another option that someone could have taken or I could have taken is to not attack with Falcons and keep it for next turn. Maybe you have lethal then and take some life. Maybe you get some blockers and then you can turn it around. I did get lucky a little bit with a Bonnie, I think, because I can search and then I got a 5k. I can search 2 times.
Yeah.
And hopefully get some blockers, which I think did not happen. Yeah, most of these cards I
No.
cannot pay the 7 cost. I have a
Yeah,
5 cost.
a Capone game match would be very nice here.
Yeah, exactly. Like having a blocker is if you can get a blocker, you can get maybe 1 more turn, and that could save you the game. I do not have a blocker. I mean, I have a blocker 1 blocker now. He has 3 attacks, so I should be safe for this turn unless he could rest my law. But he can force me to take all. Yeah, he can force me to take all my life and make me lose my blocker because I have no hand cards left, right? Or 1 hand card which he knows what it is. So yeah. So I think the big turning point was attacking with Falcons in the turn before and just letting it die just to get that extra blocker out of the way. It was probably not worth it. Yeah.
Oh,
Now I
nice. You got
start
an
getting.
Apu.
I wish I got that earlier, but yeah, can never choose, right? Yeah.
What's he gonna? What
He
is that?
plays the 7
7
cost.
cost? Oh, yeah.
So yeah. at that point, I cannot finish him off. He has one more blocker. It's pretty much decided. Yeah, so
Yeah.
blockers do turn around, but also definitely my mistake. Like choosing when to attack is very important. Like not
Yeah,
lose
but
your board.
let's see. You have Drake and Okiku, so you could
Yeah,
potentially kill him right here
not
or
if.
not.
Yes,
Yeah,
but I think
it depends on his hand.
yeah, depends on his hand. So I think I do try. I'm not sure if I do the best I can do.
Yeah,
Because now
because let's see.
I use 3. I have 7 done left, right?
Yeah. So now you should block with his 7 cost.
Or take it.
Yeah, or take it. But then you have restand and you have a lot to attack with also, so 2 more hits then.
Yeah.
What is Manheim gonna do?
He also has, I think, Paradise Waterfall because his Dawn is open, right? So he
Yeah.
can potentially have 2 blockers. That's
Okay.
the reason I attacked with 9, because otherwise he will restand. And so if I attack anything, yeah, lower than 9, then he can just restand
Yeah.
his his kid. Yeah, but it was over at this point. Yeah. So a lot of the match was about deciding when to attack and when not.
Yeah. Well, it was a very good match, that's for sure. And what would you have played differently? Yeah.
So it's difficult to say in a lot of cases because there are in kit matchups is a lot of decision making is do I try to get rid of something or do I develop my board? And if I try to get rid of something, how much Dawn do I place on something? So that's something that it's not necessarily a mistake sometimes, but it's just a different way of deciding. And but another thing is also should I pressure, for example, if you have a Hawkins on board and the opponent has 2 life, which wasn't at the end, should I pressure with 1 more attack and leave my Hawkins to be KO next turn, or should I not attack and then he can pressure you by doing 2 big swings, right? And then you're at 0 life, or play something big. So it's very difficult to know because there are always 2 options, right? Pressure and get the opponent in at 1 life, or and like for next turn KO, or should you try to preserve the board and have a better chance of KOing next turn? So it's very difficult to understand if what was done wrong, what was done right, right?